Okay, folks, I'm gonna tell you, it's not an easy sight. You're gonna be digging. I read in the Rockhounding book that you could walk around the surface and do surface picking. I'm calling him out on that. It's been overpicked for sure, and I don't know if that's because it was just after the Prineville trip and during Madras trip when all the rockhounds are in this region. But ultimately, I've been scouring the mountainside. Let me just show you, like, I'm in a spider hole there, under a tree. There's another one there. Up there you'll see a hole. A little bit of diggings there. So I'm just going to walk this way just to give you a general idea of the site. There's a trail down. There's a little hole. But the mountainside's just covered in holes here where people have been digging into the hillside. And the reason for that is there's no rhyme or reason to where these agates are. It looks like it's a float essentially. So we had our hard basalt, which is all broken up, and the agate formed in seams inside of it. They're not nodules, it's a seam agate. And the agate broke up too with the basalt, and it feels like it's all just kind of weathered and rolled around on the hill. I don't know what pushed it around, just erosion, but all these pine needles and extra dirt and stuff has accumulated on top, which just makes it a treasure hunt, right? So you're digging a hole, you pretty much sit down anywhere, because I thought, I was like, oh, maybe I'm in a green zone, because I was in one pocket. The only ones I was finding were green. 20 feet away, I start finding some with green and vibrant red too. Good transition. Look at that, there is a piece of float, a little bit of orange in there, and I think you can see the translucency on camera. There we go, on the edge there. What you do need to know, okay, there's another piece of float. Yeah, maybe there's float here too, but the sunshine is really gonna help. I don't know why that doesn't want to show there. Let me lick it for you. It was tasty. There you can see the moss in there. So green and orange, it's here. What I do need to tell you is they are the exact same shape as the basalt, which is making this complex, especially when they come out of the hole covered in dirt. Let me show you. Alright, so here I am in the hole. Here's the pieces that I've gotten out of this hole. The sun is your best friend at this site, because all the rocks come out dirty, covered in dust, and you can't tell the difference between them. Like this is a dud, and the one in my lower hand is a good one. So you got to smack windows into them. So set yourself up, like I got my anvil rock here that, you know, I put my rock on and I tap it with the hammer, and I'm looking for that glossy lustrous agate inside. There we go. So that's what I'm looking for. Any signs of moss. Now I'm starting to realize that when I go into a certain area, I'm finding like right here, I'm finding a bunch. This is about 1.5 feet down. I'm digging a bunch out of there. The irony is I've also found them 6 inches down. I haven't gone deeper than 1.5 feet yet, but what I'm getting at is when you look inside this pocket here, and I'll chisel away at the edge so you guys can see, right? There's a lot of rocks that'll just keep falling, and there's dirt. The dirt is soft, so it's easy enough to dig. So don't worry about that. It's not hard labor like hammering. But most of the rocks that come out, I'd say 9 out of 10 are not moss agate for sure. Maybe even more than that are not moss agate. But they all are coated in the same earth that makes it difficult to distinguish. There's ones you crack open and it's like a black basalt in there. Toss those away. There's ones that are going to look flat. Let me find a few examples to show you. Like this. Toss those immediately. You don't need to crack those to look into them. Those are duds. What you're looking for is something more cubic. It's going to have angles because remember it was a seam in the earth, meaning it's gonna have two walls, like a sandwich or whatever, like a top and a bottom plate. So again, you'll see a square one here. This one, if I put in the sun, you can see the red in that. Let me lick it. Nice and tasty. All right, there you go. There's your red moss in that one. But again, the outside, you can't see it. So it's tough to distinguish. I've been doing this a while, so I can tell by the weight when I pick them up, the agate is going to be slightly heavier, and your indicators are the general shape of the stone, but it's just giving me an approximation of, okay, I should check that one and smack a window into it. So there's a lot in here that I've been checking and smacking windows into, and I'm like, nope, guess not. So I can't tell for a lot of these until I hit them. Let me keep digging. I'll see if I learn more for you, but ultimately that's the site. You can walk all around, like when they say, you know, park up top and walk down the hill, you just walk everywhere. These holes are all over the hill. I walked down for 200 feet at least, maybe 300 feet, and I could keep going, and there's still holes that are readily abundant. Like every 10 feet there's a hole all over this hill. It's just littered in holes. So I don't think it matters what one you hop into. Just find a hole that's comfy. You got the sunshine over your shoulder so you can hold the rocks up and check them, and just start moving dirt. Here, so I'll kind of go through this with you. I just pulled this one out of the ground. To me, it's promising. See that shape? It's got that seam agate shape to it, the general flat top, flat bottom, and it's cubic. So it's a chunk of a seam. So let me smack this open here, and we'll see if there's a window in it. All right, so look at that. It's a dud. It had the shape, but it's just pure black gray basalt in there. Look at that. Had some moss, but not the moss we're looking for. Some green moss. Anyway, so yeah, it's a dud. So that's what I'm saying, and it's got the weight. It's tough to tell. It really is. So you just gotta make sure you check every rock. Now then, this one is one of those flat ones. It's too flat, so I can already tell that's not it. That one and the weight I can just toss away right away. And I'm just gonna keep digging in here and seeing what I come up with. This one's got some weight that's promising, but it's more round, which is not promising. So I think it just has to do with the amount of rock you move through and crack windows into. It's one of those put the labor in, put the work in, or cover a lot of ground surface picking. To be honest, I've found 3 pieces surface picking, and I did a pretty good walk through there. Yeah, it's ultimately what I can say is you're in for some work. It's not a drive up, park, and just start picking up rocks type thing. Okay, I gave up. I put my backpack on. I started walking, and then I found a spot with some promising shards, so I hopped in the pocket. I'm gonna say this after digging in a few pockets. I haven't dug in all the pockets or wandered around the whole mountain. I've kind of stayed in the general area, but that I started in after I walked down the mountain. Anyway, under the sod, about 6 inches down under the sod, is kind of like where these roots stop, where the dry layer of earth stops and it gets wet. Within that foot or so under the sod is where I've been finding them, and I'm actually pulling decent pieces. Like there's a big chunk of moss agate, and I'm getting the reds, and I am getting the yellows. They're in the same pocket with the greens. It's a total mess. Like it's a crapshoot because all this rock has, like I've said, been weathered, pushed around, covered in dirt. So you're not chasing a seam, you're just chasing dumb luck. But what I want to say is, put the work in, sit down, start moving earth, and if that pocket's not producing, pick another pocket, because I've been in this one for a while, and now it feels like 1 in 5 rocks that I check is a good, like a decent moss agate, whereas before I felt like I was looking at maybe 1 in 20 was even a moss agate, or 1 in 30. So find a pocket that starts producing. Once it does, there's your promised pocket, and just work it until you get frustrated again. And if you get frustrated, you got lots of rocks to smack on and break. Take your anger out on them. So have fun. That's Maury Mountain for you. Hope my description helped.